Hey guys, Jason with CB Customs. So we're just going to jump right in on this one. Here's what happened. I started working on this before I started filming them for YouTube. So I'm just going to give you the quick rundown. This is a 62 GMC step side C10. They have a torsion front suspension and coils in the rear. So actually, it's a really neat truck. We did everything on this truck that we did to the KB that you guys watched before. Right now it's still in its zero rust stage, but the frame is finished. So we're getting ready to get it prepped to put the gloss coat with the hardened paint and all that stuff to finish it. So I'm just gonna go over what we did to this frame to get it where it's at. And if any of you guys out there are looking at building a C10, especially in the 61, 62 era, I'll tell you right now, this frame has about $2,000 in parts. They're not cheap. You can see right here, we put the power steering on. Now, right here, the kit, because this is a really goofy frame, you can see the Z. The kit wanted us to just notch it right here so we could get a bolt into this backing plate. I added a tube so we could put a bolt all the way through. I thought it was just a better way to go. I did the same thing over here. Instead of notching it, I added a tube so the bolt is the same length. It goes all the way through. Just something I thought would work better. But it is ready to go. So a little bit of modification if you're planning on putting power steering on like I said, the early 60s C10s. That's just the way it goes. Another thing we did is we wanted to keep the stock suspension, but we wanted to lower it. So we dropped it 2 inches, and we did that with the spindle height. So this knuckle is replaced. And what they did is they took the spindle, and where it was down here, they moved it up 2 inches, and that drops the entire chassis, leaving stock suspension. So that's where that's at. Now we did the same thing on the rear. We kept stock suspension, but we dropped it 2 inches, and we did that with blocks because the cross members go underneath the axle. It's a pretty simple deal. Now this thing's already been sandblasted. We got the zero rust on it. We've done all of our modifications. The other thing we did was we built a custom transmission mount, and we did that because we're putting a 700R4 behind a Chevy 350. There's also custom motor mounts. Now the 700R4 is going to give it overdrive, which is great. We're going to do another little video on how to make that 700R4 work in this truck without a computer. The 700R4 has an electronic kick down, so the power train control module is what would have done that in whatever vehicle it came out of, but we're going to put it in this, and we don't want a computer in our build. So I'm going to get this thing prepped for paint. We're going to pull all the brake lines and shocks off, all the things we don't want painted, and then we're going to put the final coat on it. Now what was holding us up is, I'll tell you one more thing about these torsion bars. You can see I've got a strap holding up the one torsion bar. When I got the truck, it was missing one bolt. They actually had 2x4s sitting right in here to hold up this side. So those bolts apparently are really a pain in the butt to get your hands on. I did manage to find one, so we're good to go. We're gonna get that strap off. We'll put the bolt in. We'll put our paint on, and then we'll put all of our brake lines back together and put our rotors back on, because obviously we're not going to paint the rotors. We want them to be nice and shiny. Probably end up with a little bit of rust before we're done, but first time you stop, it'll knock all that stuff off. So, all right, guys, this is where we're at. We're going to start showing you some footage on the 1962 GMC C10 build. Okay, so we got the front half all done. You can see why we pulled the rotor and everything off. We didn't want that stuff painted. So now, I already got the tire on the other side. You can see we got it all the way to the half, and then the back still needs to be done. So we're gonna pick this up, pull the shocks off so they don't get painted. The brake hose that's on there is the old one. We're discarding that. So once it's painted, we'll start getting the brakes right and everything. And then this frame will be ready to go. The gloss does give it a whole nother look. Okay, so the back end is now done. It's still a little tacky, so I'll put the shocks back on later. And then there's a track bar because of these coils. We gotta throw that on. That stuff is all painted separately. It's got stickers and stuff we wanna keep looking nice. But there it is, 1962 C10. Ready for a 350 and a 700 R4. Dropped 2 inches using stock suspension. Again, we changed spindle height to give the front its stance, and then we put blocks in the rear to give the rear its stance. So now we got a 2-inch drop on our C10. The next thing we're gonna start working on is getting the 700 R4 ready to work without a powertrain control module. So on the next video, we'll show you how to open up one of those things and put the little kit inside of it.